a law about this. If you get a girl pregnant under the age of 18, or is it 17 is the age in this particular bill, I think?
I think it's 18.
Or it's 18. If you get a female pregnant under that age, we're going to tell your parents, and you're going to have a temporary vasectomy until your 18th birthday. I'm telling you what, people would be like, you are out of your minds. This is outrageous. My God, what is he going to do when Victoria's Secret comes in the mail this month? Jesus, it's going to be a crisis. How dare you take away his rights?
Okay, if this passes, that'll be the next ballot initiative
I'm
in 2
telling
years,
you
girls,
that this is, it's not taking care of the problem. You would think these girls are just like, watching too much Glee and get themselves pregnant or something.
Well, in the state with the highest rates of sexual abuse, rape, and various kinds of assault, this is not the kind of bill that we need at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. And I'll be actively working against it this summer. I'll be
I
making
think
phone calls.
we all need to vote no on
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Lightning bolt. You understand?
Have we convinced you?
No, I think this though. I understand. I totally understand what holds you back on this, because people are thinking, I don't want my daughter to be able to, and it's about them. This isn't about your daughter. This isn't about my daughter. God help her. This is about, really unfortunate situations. And moving into other unfortunate situations, we have a governor named Sean Parnell. And it was not like he was elected to be the governor, but God, I really think he stepped in it this week. And not to put your Catholicism at any test, and I'm sorry, but Denali Kid Care has been funded up to 175% of the poverty level, and we're still like number 48 in the nation.
Yeah, down there with Alabama and Mississippi.
Yeah, are we moving down to 49 now?
There's only one state behind us.
Yeah, well, that's great, because Sean Parnell's like, we're number 49th state. Yeah, dude, that's where we're at in the lineup for taking care of kids. So this week, the legislature had passed 54 to 7, I believe. 54 out of 60 of our lawmakers had voted to raise the level up to 200% of the poverty rate.
Which is what, 40,000 for a family of 4?
No, it's a little bit. I think the
for a family of 4, it's a little bit higher than that.
It is for a family of 4, but it's like 24,000 is the poverty level for a family of 4.
Okay, so 48,000.
It's like each one of you only gets like 3 or 4 dividend checks a year and nothing else. I mean, it's not a ginormous amount of money considering our energy costs here. And so it was curious to me that he decided to cut this, didn't bring it up to Senator Betty Davis, didn't bring it up to the senators that were pushing it through, not during the legislature, wasn't making phone calls like, this is going to go away. I'm going to veto this. Nothing like that. Nobody going down and saying, don't pass this law. They spent a lot of time on this. They had a lot of hearings about this. Huge amounts of funds were wasted to have something vetoed. His reasons were that he didn't know Denali Kid Care provided life-saving abortions to pregnant women. But then it came out, indeed, that he did know. That he had found out right before he voted to implement Denali Kid Care in a hearing when he asked the question when he was the head of Senate Finance. So there was that hinkiness about that. Why do you think that he's decided to use this issue? Although, let me just tell you, if you're at 175% of the poverty level now, you can still have an abortion paid for if it will save your life, like a tubal or a whatever. So why do you think this now and why this late? Is this just, because I hate to be cynical, but it seems like just politics with the health care of Alaskans.
Well, and how sick of a state have we become that when there's a life-saving situation, when
like, let's abort the mom.
When a teenager is going to die, and a tubal, the infant's
it's
not going to survive.
It's not just teenagers, though.
Yeah, adults as well, Medicaid as well. And so when the woman is going to die, and you know they're going to die, and a tubal, an infant is not viable. You're not going to have a viable infant no matter what you do. And so we would rather lose 2 lives than save 1. And it's amazing to me that the anti-choice movement can push for the death of a woman. It's a life sentence, it's a death sentence. And
right, this isn't an elective, like, nobody gave me a shower, I'm not doing it. Nobody painted my nursery. I'm not going to continue with this. This is like, you're not going to stay alive.
Well, as you say, the troubling part about the veto is, from the way I understand it, it doesn't change the way that Denali Kid Care functions or what it
Not
does
at
or
all.
doesn't cover. It's just the level of income that's been affected. So it
Right, up to
effectively
175% still
still is
have this
covered.
policy. I mean, if this is really an ideology that he has,
Yeah.
which I know people that have this ideology, I respect it. Most of them are also against the death penalty, but whatever. It's still there. We still have it up to that percent.
Right. And I mean, my middle daughter, she's 24, not covered by my health insurance anymore, has a 1-year-old, relies on Denali Kid Care. She'll still be covered under that, but it is troubling that I said it really isn't a policy change. All it did is change the level of those that will get affected.
Right.
And it does a heck of a lot more than anything that has to do with abortion procedures.
So basically, he's at about, I don't know, 86% committed, or 86% of him isn't committed to this cause of saving babies, because that's about the percentage that is
You're not
actually
saving
still
a baby.
covered.
There's no baby
Right.
to save.
Thank you. You're right.
There's no potential baby. A tubal
So-
cannot end up in a baby.
So
no matter
apparently,
what
if you
do.
make a certain, if you're poor, it's okay for you to have your life saved. And if you're rich enough to pay for it yourself, it's okay for you to have your life saved. But right here in the middle, constitutionally, by the way, it's completely unconstitutional what he's done. That you
Well,
just say no.
We go back to where we are with our health care in this country at this point. The people that take the strongest burden are the middle class. If you are poor enough, you get care, and if you're rich enough to have great health care coverage, you've got care. But it's that middle class. If you're making $48,000 a
warfare.
year, if you're making $48,000 a year in Alaska trying to pay your bills for heating oil and heating and food and everything else, there is no way that you have the money for a $100 chest x-ray or, God forbid, a $5,000 CT scan. And the insurances that are afforded to those people are outrageously incapable of actually doing the preventative care. They usually have high deductibles or are catastrophic insurance. And so the system is broken. And so for Governor Parnell to encourage the punishment of that lower middle class is really cruel and unusual.
It's
And
class
it's going to send
warfare.
more. It's going to send more sick people to the emergency rooms. The hospitals will have to treat them when they get there. The tubal abortions, the tubal pregnancies will be ended because the pain is unbelievable.
Well,
I
because
understand.
the tube actually explodes and the woman bleeds out.
Right, and then she
so
can never
then
have a
you've got
baby
units
again.
of blood
Right.
coming in, and
Right.
and then
Right.
something that could have cost
Right.
a couple of $100s in a simple procedure becomes a much more $10,000, $20,000 expense of a major
the bottom line
catastrophic.
is
then all
that
the
this
rest of us, then our
rescue.
insurance goes up to cover all of these emergency
But the
room
bottom
treatments.
line
Well,
is-
and then we encourage bankruptcy and the people that went to the ER.
There you go.
Because that is our public option right now. If you go and you get the health care you need, you end up in bankruptcy. So
That's a hell of a public option. That's not change I can believe in. No, and there's nothing pro-life about this veto. Nothing pro-life at all about this veto. And he should never be able to hang this pro-lifiness. I don't care if he goes off to visit with James Dobson this week after doing it, which he did, with Focus on the Family. It'd make it a lot easier for people to focus on their families if they weren't worrying about that wheezing kid in the next room and how they're going to feed it and take it to the doctor. We got to take a break. That was really fun. We got to take a break. No, we really do. I wasn't just making it up. We'll be right back.
there's nothing pro-life about Proposition 2.
That's right. I'm so glad that Vince is here because all the other weeks it's so quiet. This is one of my favorite parts of the show, and there's lots of questions. So let's try to hit them. And, this week was crazy. We had a police officer shot. We have a mayor that, he sucks again this week. Go figure. Still no police academy. You know who I'm talking to. And so some of the questions in here are going to be about that. We'll just see. What conditions constitute medically necessary? Go.
Life-threatening.
Meaning that you would die if you didn't get it, or that it would
It depends on the situation you're talking about, but when you're talking about abortion, yeah, you might die.
medically necessary means that you could die. Okay.
It's risk of life or limb. So
What limb is your uterus in?
it depends on the condition.
Oh,
There are
I'm
injuries to your
sorry.
limb.
There's complications with the baby. We're gonna have to cut off your leg. No, that does. Okay, well, I guess they could. Why am I arguing with the doctor? Sorry, I'm so sorry. How rude of me. Vince, can card checks still get passed?
Probably not. At the point when we lost Ted Kennedy's seat with Scott Brown, that really dampened the chances. Not to mention
He drives a truck.
Yeah.
Why would he vote for it?
Blanche Lincoln and Mary Landrieu, and there's a number of them that were.
Blanche
Yeah, I'll be the
Lincoln.
60th vote if you'll be the 59th.
Right,
So
Blanche
they
Lincoln
could
is
never
from.
get there.
Isn't the capital of Arkansas now Walmart?
Probably. Yeah.
That makes sense.
The good news is the U.S. Department of Labor under Secretary Hilda Solis is doing a lot of good things that I think will rectify a lot of the abuses of the Department of Labor under the Bush administration.
Abuses.